Hi everyone. So this video is about the Unshakable Challenge Day 1. So there is so much in this one day. So I will try and go over it pretty quickly with the whole recap. I will make it somewhat of my own as well. So I'm just gonna glance at the notes and see what flows with the notes. So what the very beginning of the day, Tony talks about habits. So the biggest takeaway from the very beginning is that there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that you have been programmed by certain patterns through the stories that you've been telling yourself for a long time, and now you have a whole set of patterns which are deliberately controlling your life. So just keep that in mind. There's nothing wrong with you. They're just habits. They're just patterns, which can be changed, which is why we're here. So, another thing is we experience the life we focus on. So he talks about using the energy of focus. So where you put your attention, that's where the energy is going to flow, and that's where things are going to start unfolding. So because of where that focus goes, it's really important for you to have a compelling future. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you want and why you want it? Because if you have a strong enough of a compelling reason, that vision, an emotional why connection, then you have a much easier time of moving past your old habitual pattern and creating something new. So whatever you believe in, it does control you. I think we all have witnessed that to be very true. And another really big takeaway is don't be passive. Don't let your life be in stagnation, because that's when something pushes you over the edge to create that change. So you don't have to do that. You just raise your energy, you just get up and you make it happen, and you overcome with courage. Even though you might be afraid, just still do it anyway. And then that momentum will build into something greater. So you just keep pushing forward. There are 3 skills to master to have a breakthrough. 1, pattern recognition. 2, pattern utilization. And 3, pattern creation. So pattern recognition is do the right thing at the right time. You just have to pay attention to certain patterns within yourself and within the outer environment, and recognize the right opportunity for you to take a step. So that's when you can gain that type of power, that momentum. And because we all have a very unique way of creating things, you can create a whole different pattern. So that's where the creation comes from. So with that being said, there are 3 basic pattern breakthroughs. So as we found out, sleep and food is a source of energy. It doesn't create it. So the biggest one would be to increase your energy. It's change your frequency. So move your body, think a different thought. Your energy does become a habit. So it's really important to change the state of your energetic body. And as you start to move and you increase the bodily frequency, you also start to create the different thoughts. It's all a whole cycle. So one of the biggest things that creates more of a lower frequency, more of a lower energy in your body is through loss and grief. And Tony talks about the 5 stages of grief, and I think we've all been through it before. Shock and denial, anger, frustration, sadness, loss, bargain, acceptance. But I really love at the very end that he put in creation, because we do have the power to create a different idea or a belief system within ourselves. When we're fully ready and ready to receive, God did give us this gift to be able to recreate. So, and that's the whole breakthrough, is when you can get to the point of that creation moment. And what Tony's definition of a breakthrough is: a moment in time when everything changes, when the impossible becomes possible. And that's beautiful, because all personal breakthroughs begin with a change in the belief system. So, and the most important thing to do when that happens is you take action. And that's really important. And I like the exercise that we did together with writing your own breakthroughs. It's really important to be able to give yourself enough credit, because sometimes when we are in that limiting thought pattern, we forget that we've overcome a lot before. And so we have proof, we just don't think about it. And I like that he talks about, you know, asking yourself, what have you overcome before? What made you overcome it? What was the must? How did you take the steps? So it makes you think back, and it makes you realize, wow, I have done it. So it is possible. And it is absolutely possible. We all do it. So it's just through doing these exercises, you recognize, wow, I did create a whole new belief. And now I know that it's possible for me to do it with this one too. So there are 3 key breakthroughs or to the breakthroughs. And I thought this was fascinating, because it's like I know I've done the pattern before. I just have always started at the wrong spot. 3 things. The state. It's really important to be in the really high mental, emotional, even spiritual state of being, because that's when you don't have those blinders on, and you're able to see it in a full spectrum. More things can come to you. And then the story is number 2. So this is where you understand, what do I want and why do I want it? Because that's where you create that compelling future, that story of why do you want it? What's the driving force for you to be able to take all those steps and accomplish it? This is where the step number 3 goes, and that's for the strategy of how. How do you overcome this, and how do you take the steps? What's the next most logical step? And then you take it. You take that action. You overcome your other limiting beliefs, because that why is so much stronger than I don't know or I can't. So this is why it's really important to go back to these 3 fundamental steps. And don't start with the how. I always started with the how, and it never worked out, because then I didn't have the reference point in the past of, hey, I overcame this, I've done it before, I know I can do it again. Because I would get too stuck on, wow, that's a really big dream, and I don't have the steps, and I don't know, and then I wouldn't proceed. So there's that. So you change your energy state through movement, and then you change your story as to what do you want to introduce into your new story? How do you want your life to start unfolding? And you get to have fun with this. That's the most amazing part about it. And keep in mind, again, that your story, depending on what type of belief you're putting into it, does create a blind spot. So if it's a limiting belief, you're shutting yourself off from receiving anything that is possible. So if you can let go of those moments of I don't knows, or you change your state of mind and your frequency and your energy level, and all of a sudden everything else just opens up. And that's where, other things line up for you, and we'll get to some other things in the future here. But marry the truth that your dream is possible and go for it. That's where the action is really important. Seek and you shall find. Isn't that so true? It's worked before. So mental and emotional state is the most important in your life, and you can change that pretty quickly. So to create change in mental and emotional state, there are some steps that you can take, which would be go for a walk, go dance, go move, any sort of frequency change within your body, through power postures, through just putting your shoulders back, using your voice authentically, rewire yourself biochemically, deep breaths, cold therapy, anything that kind of gets you out of the old state. And eventually you create a new state. Your body remembers that. Your body keeps the score. That's a really good book. And try and place yourself in the right state so that way the next step will come. So if you want to figure out the how part, get yourself in the right state. And then after the right state is in line, now you get to know why. What is it that I want and why do I want it? And then the how will start to unfold. And then it's always like the next logical step from where you are. And sometimes it might be a really massive step, and that's even better. So, and this is all experiential. So it's different to take in this knowledge through studying and taking notes and listening, but there's something about taking that action. You get to experience it to be so personal and so true that there's no denying that it works. So you go for it. And then what I really like is that there was this exercise that we did was the 4 ways of being, through visualizing the warrior, the magician, the lover, and the sovereign. And at the very end, each one you go through and you talk to each one, you find it within yourself and you ask, what is it that you would want to say to it, or what is it saying to you, and then more than anything. And each one eventually has its own thing to say, and it's having a whole conversation within your being, and you can access that at any moment in your life. And I thought that was really powerful because each state or each archetype had something different to say to me, and each one is very, very true and wise, and it works together. So that was really powerful for me. After all of the archetypes, he talks about to create lasting change, there are things that you do want to start doing, which is you have to have total focus and total clarity on what it is that you want, what's next for you in your life. And then you direct your attention only on that. And now the second one would be, what are the right tools? What's the right strategy? This is where you find the role models who have done it, and then you follow those steps. The third step is, where are my conflicts? Where is it that my limiting beliefs are holding you back? So this is where you get to recreate that story. You implement a different idea in your mind or your identity, and then you create a momentum through taking action and rebuilding a whole new you. So keep in mind, through all of this so far, is that if you focus on what you want, and this has been true for a lot of different people who have told us that this works, a lot of successful people, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. The more you focus on what you want, the rest will always unfold. Clarity is power. So be really clear on what you want, because then the attention will easily flow to that, and then you'll be able to create that momentum through taking action. And then when you do start activating this, you hit what Tony talks about as the reticular activating system. This is where you start to notice things that you didn't notice before, because you now have expanded your field of vision. Your blinders are off, and now the whole universe has opened up for you, because you have built up a certain amount of belief in yourself and the environment around you, because you've changed your state, you know your why, and now you're taking action, and you have a strategy that works, and the rest is all unfolding for you. So, and then you will always find answers, because they're out there, and you know that. So you know that it's all working out just fine. So just relax. This is where one of the archetypes comes out, and it's just have fun with it. It's a process. You just enjoy it. So you associate a different story now. It's between pain versus pleasure. You just have fun. And also, the identity is shaped by our behaviors and beliefs. That's a really big one. And then we move on to the VIP questions. And this is where I was just talking about it. It's not about achieving the goals and the physical aspects of things. It's about who you become in the process. It's about overcoming certain challenges. It's overcoming those old stories. It's overcoming you, the old you, and it's creating a whole new you. And it is so beautiful when you just have fun with it, because it doesn't have to be so serious. This is where all the magicians come out. This is where you get to make it a whole very beautiful spiritual process. This is about connecting with God. This is about just loving life. So yeah, it's a whole process, and it's a fun process. It doesn't have to be so scary. And if you're too stagnant, that's when you kind of don't believe that it's possible. So progress leads to happiness. So you want to work on taking action that leads to some form of a progress in your life. And you also have 5 important key steps to create a plan for yourself. So as many successful people have stated, it's really important for you to surround yourself by other people who have what you want. So you want to take some time during your day to at least read or take in knowledge that you haven't studied before. And even if you have studied it, still take it in, because you're perceiving it differently. So now it's a new way for you to receive this knowledge. You might hear it so differently. It might really fully impact you in such a different way that it makes more sense than you have before. So either way, no matter if it's new knowledge or old knowledge, still try and dedicate 30 minutes to an hour to really take in some information. And then you also apply it. Whatever you take in, you have to take action on it. Otherwise, it's just going to be useless knowledge. Feed and strengthen your body. So this isn't just the physical body and the food aspect, even though, yes, it is important, but it's not just that. And I had to learn that for myself, because I thought that that's it. But no, it's just a source. But what it's really about is strengthening your mind. It's overcoming you every day. It's when you're training your body and your mind, and you say, when I say go, you go. There's no denying, there's no I don't want to, there's no excuses. It's more of overcoming those obstacles, because you cannot have a whole new version of your desire without letting go of certain aspects of you that were holding you back before. So that's really the whole aspect of strengthening your mind and your body. And then the number 3 is find and surround yourself by role models. So that's really, really important. Get a mentor, get a teacher, listen to certain things, and that kind of goes with number 1. You take in the new information and you kind of create that mastermind with people, somebody new. And number 4 is proximity is power. I thought this was brilliant, because I used to play very small, and I surround myself by people who might have a little bit more than me, but still kind of, in the same role. But what I like about this is he says, play the game with people higher than you, meaning surround yourself by people who have way more than you, where you feel really uncomfortable, but you get to be in that environment. You get to find out how they did it, how they accomplished it. And yeah, get out there, surround yourself and challenge yourself, learn. There's so much more, and don't limit yourself just because somebody else might be higher up than you or they appear to be better than you, because every single successful person has pretty much started out exactly where all of us have. Majority of the people anyway. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but that I started out, well, with nothing in Russia, in severe poverty. But moving on. Number 5. So give more than you expect to receive. That's a really big one, because a lot of us want to chase for that end goal, but I think what's really more powerful is, what do you receive emotionally when you give freely? So it's always give. You want to give, and it's unconditional giving. It's not, I'm going to give you because I expect something in return. It's really giving because what else are you striving for? Because if it's just money, there's so much money you can get everywhere, but this is also about expanding your life and your heart, and the rest just kind of unfolds. And so when you have the intention of giving, there's always more that comes back. And it's happened to me. I've gained so much just by giving unconditionally, and it's quite beautiful. So, and then create a plan, create your different state, find out what it is that you really want and get clear about it, and why do you want it, and then your strategy. Take massive action. Don't just think about it, do it. And make it a must that you take action, like right now. So keep in mind too that when you first start, and this goes with Bob Proctor, conscious mind, it's very creative. We're able to play with the conscious mind. We can invite new thoughts. We can come up with different ideas, and it could be really fun. God gifted us with this amazing ability to consciously decide or not decide. And then right below the conscious mind is the subconscious mind. This is where it's habits that have been programmed, it's autopilot, it's everything below that we don't even know about that's been just stored there because of our past. So this is where it's really important to keep in mind of this line in between of what you take in goes right down there. So just be mindful about what's coming in there. And you have the ability to reject it or accept it. So really accept the things that are going to support you in your future. Really accept the things that are going to light you up and bring you enjoyment and happiness. So that's what I really wanted to say about that. And do check out Bob Proctor on paradigm shifts, because that's really powerful too. So, and I really love this quote. I just wanted to share this because you could take it in two different ways. The successful person is being rewarded in public for what you practice in private consistently. So this isn't just in the physical aspect where you get the recognition through the public and financial gains or publicity. This is also when you're consistently practicing something internally, it shows externally, and people notice that. And this is where people come up to you and say, what are you doing that's different? How can you help me? And then this is where, because you're doing this within yourself and nobody else can see it, because we come in here alone and we leave alone. So whatever you're doing inside here consistently with as much purity to get better, then people notice. And then this is where you can also help others as well, because it starts inside. So I thought that was really powerful to me. I really love that quote. So just a couple of other notes and then we're done. Failure is good, so just keep going. If you fail, keep failing, keep going. Do not give up, because you're that much closer and you're growing and you're making progress, so that's good. Massive action is the cure-all. I love that saying by Tony Robbins. So what you value determines what you focus on. So every decision in your life is controlled by your beliefs and values. So just keep that in mind. Like, what kind of a belief do you want to have? That's all that it's all about. Replace it with self-limiting beliefs and create something new. And I know it sounds really easy, because when I first started, it was really difficult, and it's a practice in a lot of different areas. This isn't just for one thing and then it's done. This is a whole progression of your entire life. So really master these skills and then keep practicing, and then create new things, and then build that momentum, and then don't stop. And always have a role model, because those are going to be your guides that can help you along your way. And my last note, it'll probably be my last note, is don't wait to be rich, because this isn't just about money. Money is like the biggest thing that people want. And I think initially I started this challenge with Tony because financially that's kind of what my focus was. But it's also about, what does the richness bring to you? It's the state of feeling. It's the concept of freedom, the abundance, the joy, the ability to contribute. It's the fullness. It's everything that you have going on internally. That's what you ultimately want. It's not necessarily the outside thing, it's the state of feeling. And then when you get yourself into that state, energetic state, your energy's up, that's when you get to find out the why and the what, and then you can take some action. Because there's a difference between going, I want money. I mean, you can go and do whatever you want to get money. It's different. You have to create that compelling why. You want all of those feelings combined with, I also want to help, or I also want to do this because that's my dream. There's so many different things that are attached to being rich financially. So, yeah. And then go out. Get out of yourself. Get out of your old limiting beliefs and just go do it. Don't get stuck and have fun with it. So, that was day 1, and there's so much more that I didn't even say. Just imagine how much information is stored in here, and now you have to process all of it. Now you have to be able to take it all in and take action. And this is the fun part, because you get to play. Get your archetypes out and enjoy. So, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe, and go ahead and leave a comment. You probably have joined the Tony Robbins Unshakeable challenge, so I'm sure we've seen each other there. But I'm glad that I was able to make this video with a quick recap, and I will see you soon, hopefully on the next event.